Well, Strong Black Super Chemist. We're here on a new video. Do we need illegals to pick our crops for slave wages? Before I get into that, I want to just reiterate about the 340,000 illegal alien kids that disappeared, that came into our country and that are now slaves. I actually did a video on this called How the Democrats Brought Back Slavery, or How the U.S. Brought Back Slavery. Yeah, these kids, they ain't at the Brady Bunch's house. This isn't like 5 or 10 kids missing and you're like, oh, maybe they made it through to a good family. No, 340,000 children don't disappear all at the same exact time, all under Biden's regime, and they're all at, good things happen to them. They're all slaves, okay? Let's keep that in mind, all right? That they brought slavery back. I mean, you can say they didn't bring. My question is, if they didn't bring it back, what is the number? Because there's over a third of a million children right now that are slaves that they just brought in. If you can't say they brought back slavery when they brought a third of a million slaves into our country, how many slaves? What number do you have? Do we have to have? Because that's documented. 340,000, a third of a million slaves. That's documented. Little kids. So how many, do they need 10 million little kid slaves before you're like, yeah, they brought back slavery? How many do they need? Okay, so anyways, back to this. They are literally saying, and I'm taking this word for word for many people on the news have been said, and congressmen and this and that, right? We need illegal aliens, or they always say newcomers or, migrants or immigrants or whatever, right? We need illegal aliens to pick our crops because no Americans want to work for those low wages. Okay, and that sounds, I guess, to a human, that sounds okay, like, hey, we need to, But for me, because I don't consider myself human like the rest of this planet that's infested with humans, I look at it and I say, well, illegal aliens are black and brown mostly, right? And these low wages, that Americans don't want to work for low wages, well, there are millions and millions of people in this country that are working for minimum wage. That's a fact. You cannot deny that. So when they say low wages, they're not talking about minimum wage, right? Because if they're talking about minimum wage, that's an obvious lie, right? Yeah, I mean, there are millions of people. There's already people working at McDonald's. You can't have McDonald's and then say people won't work for low wages picking crops. Like, come on, are you serious? So obviously they mean, when they say Americans don't want to work for low wages, they mean Americans don't want to work for wages that are below minimum wage. And if you're paying your employee below minimum wage, that's literally a form of slavery. Literally. I mean, it's not a total slavery, pure slavery, where you can beat them and take, do whatever you want with them, right? But if you are paying under the legal wage, then yes, they are literally a slave at that point, because you're not legally paying them at all, right? If you're not giving them minimum wage, even if it's 1 penny under, you are not paying them illegally in any way, shape, or form. And anyone who doesn't get paid legally is a slave. All right, so they're not talking about low wages. They are talking about low wages, but they're not talking about minimum wage. They're talking about slave wages. Slave wages are wages that are below the minimum wage, right? That's what they're talking about, because they couldn't be talking about minimum wage because there's millions of people in this country that work minimum wage. I've done it myself, okay? So let's rephrase their question. Their thing. They're saying we need illegal aliens to pick our crops because, and also crops. They have the word crops there. Let's just pick out a specific crop, like oranges, apples, pears, right? Cotton. Let's just pick out a crop. And instead of crops, we'll say that crop in our new sentence, right? So they're saying we need illegal aliens to pick our crops because no Americans want to work for these low wages. Now, change that, put all my definitions in now. Let's say that again. We need black and brown people to pick our cotton so Americans won't, because Americans won't work for slave wages. Does this remind anyone of anything? Really? Black people picking cotton, not getting paid a legal wage? Really? Really? That doesn't remind you anything, huh? Huh? None? but that's just like it's funny when I hear black people saying how, yeah, they should let them in. They need to let them in, pack our cotton. You let them black people come in and pack our cotton. There you go, for slave wages. Yeah, I'm black, but I'm for this. Yeah. Yeah, you sound like a moron. You sound like an idiot. But anyways, and they always come back. They always come back at you with, do you want prices to go up for food? And of course everyone says, see, this is how they manipulate, because this isn't the question that they're really asking. The question that they're really asking is, hey, we have a way to get slave labor, and we can have the prices go down using this slave labor, right? So do you want the slave labor and low prices, or do you want the prices of food to go up? And you'd go out there, you'd say, well, I don't want the prices to go up. I'd rather have slaves. I'd rather have work. I mean, they're just black people, right? They're just illegal aliens. They're black and brown, They should be picking our cotton, right? They should be working for non-legal pay. I mean, right? How is this not the most racist thing in the world, right? And I want to remind you too that you can't. All humans. That's why it's disgusting me, because you all think that you can push someone down on the ground, spit on them, kick them, and then the next guy you help up that you see on the ground, you're like, oh, and you dust them off. You're just like, are you okay, buddy? You okay? And then you think you're a good person. Okay, you're not a good person. You're pushing, just because you help someone up doesn't delete what you did. You push someone down, spit them, and kick them. You can't open the borders up and help up a whole bunch of illegal alien poor people while stepping on the poor people of the United States, where my rent is tripled now. My wages have gone down now. Of course, the elites get great. Oh, they get higher rents, right? So they make out. Oh, wages go down? Oh, yeah, all their factories, they can pay the elites are making out great. You're helping them out. Yeah, you're really helping them out, you piece of shit. Anyways, I think I got off the track there. I lost total track of what I was talking about. But, you can't step on people. So you can't push me down and all the black people that live in my neighborhood, right? If it's got to be racial for you because you're a racist piece of crap. All the black people are poor too. There are, half my neighbors are black, motherfucker. That's where the black people are. They're in the poor area. So, how can you? And these illegals, they come in. Whose job are they going to take? Are they going to take your job teaching, or your job as a doctor, or this? No, they're going to take my poor job. Because they have no education. They don't even speak English. Whose job do you think they're going to take? How does that help me and my black people in my neighborhood? How does that help us? You push us down, you spit on us, you kick us, and then you act like you're a good person because you're helping illegal aliens from another country that are entitled, that don't even belong in this country? It's funny as these people come, they're like, yeah, I'm from this city and in this country. And then and it's just so bad there, I can't take it. And then we look up the stats for Detroit, New York, Chicago. It's more of a war zone here than it is there. Why do they have a right to come here and screw over all the poor people? Because they're living in a war zone? We live in a war zone. And we're importing the cartels in here. Anyways, we're getting off the thing. So why do they keep pushing this? I mean, obviously the elites want low wages for workers. They want high rents for citizens, because they are the ones who own the places that you rent from. They're the people who own the businesses. Of course, they want this, But why do they have to keep always? Why do we have it brainwashed in our head that we need to grow our economy or we're just going to die? The Federal Reserve Bank. That's what I'm talking about. You need to watch my videos starting at the fiat money, Federal Reserve Bank, World Bank, why elites want low tariffs, is the deep state of monarchy and climate crisis. You need to watch these in the order I just said, because they're multiple videos for each thing. Like fiat videos have 3, the Federal Reserve has 3, the World Bank has 6. You have to watch them all in a row, and you'll see these patterns, these things. Anyway, so the Federal Reserve Bank is basically a loan sharking machine, okay? Even if we gave back every freaking dollar that exists in our society, and we gave it back to the Federal Reserve Bank, we still owe the interest. Do you know what the interest is on it? Right now, that's all we pay is interest on it. We don't even pay any part of the principal. It's just a loan sharking machine. And so because of that, since you can't pay you can never pay it back. You just can pay a little bit each time, right? But if you keep paying, and your money supply is going to dwindle more and more and more and more, right? You can't give them all the money supply. So you give them some of the, keep paying them back every year, the money supply. You need to create more money now, right? Because if you don't have enough money in the money supply now, because it's dwindled down, you paid off a lot of your interest and stuff, right? You don't have enough money to pay the actual bill. You don't have much money in the money supply to pay anything. So you have to print up more money, which puts you in more debt. Then you pay off more and more of that debt, right? But the interest is still accruing, right? And you're getting more interest every time you borrow stuff. This all causes inflation, right? Every time they print up more money, that causes inflation, okay? And there's only one way, and you can't get out of them printing up money. They have to keep doing it. They have to, because you can never pay them back, right? So they have to keep printing more and more and more and more and more money up. Never-ending money. Okay, so let me just read it then. You have to, because I just lost my train of thought. You have to never-endingly borrow more and more money, which creates inflation. And the only way that you don't get, and you end up just getting into super inflation, right? If your economy doesn't grow. That's why they want the economy to grow. Because as your payment to the Federal Reserve Bank grows and grows and grows, right? Because you owe more and more, and you borrow more and more, that means what you owe is more and more. That means if your economy grows, then you can pay more and more. You can pay, basically the loan shark is, the Federal Reserve, the loan shark, is saying you need to go out and get other people to pay your bill because you have to grow so that your income can pay just the interest on this loan, or we'll kill you. Yeah, so the only way to counteract the inflation, right, is by economic growth. That's the only way, right? Or stop printing up money. But that's not possible. You cannot stop printing up money, because sooner or later, as you pay back your money to the Fed, your money supply dwindles. What's it going to? You can't just take it down to $1. Even if you took it down to $0, you still owe them money, so you have to borrow more money to pay the interest. And nobody in your society would have money. How would that work? You can't do it. You can never pay them back. You can only owe them more and more and more and more money. And if you owe them more and more and more money, you have more and more and more interest. You need to have more. You have to make more and more money. How are you going to make more money? You have to have economic growth. And you can't have economic growth. Stop. You need a bigger workforce. which means you need a bigger population.